So, in the last episode of this series, I mentioned that I was currently on a mission. That mission being to finally acquire the Shadow Assassin chestplate and complete the full set. Unfortunately, as many of you will already know, this is an incredibly difficult task. Because, of course, in this series, I do not use the bazaar or auction house. So, the only way to obtain the chestplate is either getting it as a drop on a run, or by completing a whopping 750 runs for the Livid collection. As I often mention though, I'm not afraid of a challenge, so since the last video, I have been running floor 5s every single day over on my Twitch channel, link down below by the way, and as I expected, this grind began pretty depressingly, with me getting almost no items of interest over the first few days of runs, aside from like a recombobulator or two. Eventually, I hit the 150 run mark and had begun to lose hope of ever having a shot at getting the chestplate, so I decided it was time to do something drastic. You see, at 150 runs, you unlock a Livid Dagger in the collection, one of the most powerful weapons in the entire game. But since I already had a nearly maxed out version of one of these in my possession, I had a different idea for how this one could be put to use. A sacrifice. Blood for the Blood God. And much to the dismay of many of my poorer viewers who may have hoped for a giveaway, I put the Livid Dagger into the Dungeon Blacksmith and salvaged it for a whopping 40 Wither Essence. Now, this type of superstitious action may seem crazy to some of you, but what's gonna seem even crazier is when I tell you that it actually worked. Well, kind of worked. Look at Livid, man. So inspirational. Look at Livid, man.
Oh my god! Oh my god! Wait, who predicted? It's not what we were looking for, but it's still something nice. Holy! Let's go! I will take it. I will absolutely take it. Not necessarily the chest that we were looking for, but I will 100% take it. Let's go, baby. Let's go. Oh my god. I'm taking it. 15 million coins. That is pricey.
So yeah, I didn't get the chestplate. Instead, I got the only other item with the same drop chance as the chestplate in the entirety of floor 5. But apparently this thing is actually kind of overpowered, which is why I was willing to pay the hefty price tag of 15 million coins for it. So let's test this thing out. What's going on, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Hypixel Skyblock Hardmode series. So yeah, in just a second here, I am going to be working on maxing out this brand new Shadow Fury I got, and then of course testing it and seeing how it stacks up against my current weapon, the Livid Dagger. But before I get into that, just want to quickly say thank you to every single person who has subscribed since the last episode. We are getting so insanely close to 90,000 subscribers, so if you guys are enjoying this series and want to keep up to date with it, please do consider hitting that subscribe button. I would really appreciate it. Alright, so the first step to getting this thing maxed out is of course going to be getting all of the max enchants on it. But because of this new enchanting update, this is going to be like a totally different experience for me than it has been in the past. I'm not sure if it's going to take a lot longer because of this, or if it's actually going to go a lot faster than it did before. Of course, though, enchanting is still not a particularly interesting thing to do on episode, so I'm going to go ahead and just get this thing maxed out enchanted in a very similar way to my Livid Dagger off camera right now, and I will cut back when I am done with it. Alright, and the sword has now been fully enchanted. It has all the exact same enchants as the Livid Dagger, except the Luck and Thunderlord are one level lower just because I didn't have another Luck 6 book, and the Thunderlord 6 book for some reason was going to be like 200 XP levels to apply, so I was like, yeah, no thank you. I also went ahead and fully hot potato booked it right away, so we don't even have to worry about that anymore. And now the final two steps here are going to be, for one, to take out this Dragon Claw I thankfully got, I think a while ago, maybe like a month or two at this point, and apply the Fabled Reforge to the Shadow Fury. And this is going to cost me 1 million coins to do, so thankfully I can afford that since I grinded up those 69 million coins just last episode. And then of course the last thing I need to do here is turn this into a 5-star item, which does cost a decent amount of Wither Essence, I believe, but I currently have like 4,000 of this from all the floor 5 runs I've been doing, so I think I will be okay. Oh my god, this final one is 800 Wither Essence. That is painful. How much do I still have left? Okay, I still have over 3,000, so that's fine, but that was pricey. It probably cost around 1,500 Wither Essence to fully max that thing out. Now, I could take this this thing to the next level and make it mythic because I have 4 separate recombobulators that I've gotten from the floor 5 runs. But I'm going to hold off and just confirm that this thing is in fact better than the Livid Dagger before I do that, because otherwise, I'd rather just use the recombobulator on my Livid Dagger and not waste it on the Shadow Fury. Anyways, though, it is now time to put these things head to head, and in just a second, I'm going to be putting them head to head in dungeons, because I think that's probably going to be the most important spot to test them out, but I want to first just see how they stack up against like regular mobs in Skyblock. So I'm going to change my pet over to my rare Griffin. I think this will probably help me with damage just because the strength 8. And for my armor set, I'm currently wearing 3/4 SA and a werewolf chestplate. I'm going to take the werewolf chestplate off though and swap it out for a zombie knight chestplate, because that should be a little bit better for damage as well. And I think that pretty much gets us completely set up. Now the one thing to keep in mind here before I test the damage as well though, is that when it comes to the Livid Dagger, it does have that plus 100% attack speed. And while that doesn't help for one-shotting mobs, I am going to need to take that into account for like mini bosses and stuff, because you're basically doing like twice the amount of damage when you have 100% attack speed. So from the front, the Livid Dagger is at 84k to these crit goals, 87k there, 76k, 80k, so right around 80k from the front. I'm assuming from the back that is going to be, yeah, 175k, so probably anywhere from 160 to 180k maybe. But I don't really like to use the from the back damage for a Livid Dagger when it comes to damage testing, because you're not always going to be able to get a hit from the back. And then as for the Shadow Fury here, it is doing 109k. Wow, that is actually a way bigger increase than I thought. 100k. So yeah, pretty much looks like it's very consistently around 100k, sometimes up to like 110k maybe. But like I mentioned, you do have to factor in the 100% attack speed with the Livid Dagger, which if I did, the Livid Dagger still would be out damaging the Shadow Fury in terms of DPS and not just one-shot damage. Although the Shadow Fury does come with the added ability of this ability right here, where you just teleport around and kill everything in sight. And I decided to do a little bit more testing with these two weapons in the end, just to see if the results would be the same. And yeah, it pretty much is. The Shadow Fury seems to do about like 20 to 30% more damage maybe. But at the end of the day, I almost prefer the Livid Dagger over it, because it's not like I'm having any problems one-shotting mobs anyway. So I don't know if that extra little bit of damage is really that helpful. I'm going to go ahead and hop into a floor 5 dungeon run now though and compare these two things there, because maybe that's where the Shadow Fury is really going to outclass the Livid Dagger, and I'll be like, wow, yeah, this is definitely the better weapon for dungeons. Okay, now doing damage tests in dungeons is always hard because like damage is so inconsistent here, but on a Skeletor with the Livid Dagger, it looks like about 600k. With the Shadow Fury, 1.14 mil. Okay, now I'm starting to see where this thing comes in handy. Yeah, again, 1.16 mil there. Let's see again here, 980k. Okay, so a little bit lower there. But yeah, looks like Shadow Fury shines in dungeons. 840k, that's lower there. Let me see if I can get two similar mobs again. I'll try on a Crypt Lurker with the Livid Dagger, 772k. Okay, and with the Shadow Fury here, what was that, 1.17 mil? 1 mil there. Okay, so not as much of a damage increase, but still pretty good. How about this one? 880k it looked like there. Okay, yeah, now I'm doing like a mil with the Livid, and I'm doing 1.3 mil with the Shadow Fury, 1.3 mil again. Man, I really don't know. I still kind of feel like the Livid Dagger might be better just because of that 100% attack speed, right? Because I mean, again, I'm not having trouble one-shotting things with the Livid Dagger, and then when I fight something like a mini boss, that 100% attack speed comes in handy because it doubles my damage output. And then I mean, even on top of that, when you factor in that there is a chance you could hit from behind with the Livid Dagger and get that double damage, I feel like there's almost like no way the Shadow Fury wins this test, right? But yeah, I don't know, guys. Let me know if there's just something I'm missing. There is still one more test I want to do with these two swords, so we'll see if maybe the results are different there. But right now, I kind of just feel like I wasted 15 million coins and 1,500 Wither Essence for nothing. While we are on the topic of dungeons though, there actually is one other item I've been wanting to test that I just recently got like 2 days ago. And that item is the Phantom Rod, which was something I didn't even really think I wanted to get. But then like 4 or 5 days ago, I was just streaming, actually doing some floor 5 dungeon runs, trying to get the chest plate, and Spooky Fishing started up, and some people in my chat mentioned to me that the Phantom Rod is a very good item for fighting dungeon mini bosses, which sounded like something I could definitely make use of. Now, keep in mind though, if you guys have seen the episode where I grinded for like the full set of werewolf armor, then you will know I've already done probably around 10 hours of spooky fishing, and I had never gotten a phantom rod, so I was pretty sure that there was no chance I was going to get one. But somehow, literally 5 minutes after I had started spooky fishing, this happened. Please. Pray RNG. There's only one thing. Oh, we did! Yes! Let's go! Oh my god, wait, we actually got it! Let's go, wait, oh my god, I can't believe it! We actually got something I wanted, man. Santa came through. So yeah, I'm excited to test this thing out and see if it really is going to be very useful for mini bosses. Hopefully the results of this test end up being a little bit more, I guess, promising than the Shadow Fury test. Unfortunately for me though, this thing needs to be enchanted like a regular weapon would, which means I now need to once again go through the entire enchanting process that I just did for my Shadow Fury for the Phantom Rod now. So, yeah, I will be back when that is done. Okay, I actually ended up finding some grand experience bottles I had lying around, which made that process go much, much faster. And I also was able to skip out on some enchants like Ender Slayer, Cubism, Impaling that I don't think would have any use on a weapon I'm only using against dungeon mini bosses. And I did also go for Smite 6 instead of like Sharpness 5, because once again, since I'm only going to be using this thing against dungeon mobs, I think Smite 6 is the better choice. Now, in terms of a reforge for this thing though, I have no idea what the right one to go for is going to be. Actually, the fast plus 50% bonus attack speed kind of seems interesting given the way I'm going to be using this, which if you guys don't know how these things are used, I will show you in just a second when I test it out. But yeah, I guess I will go with that reforge for now. I also am going to hesitantly hot potato book this thing just because I do have a lot of enchanted baked potatoes lying around from when I was going crazy doing those farming competitions. But hopefully this ends up being an item I actually use and I'm not once again just wasting a bunch of resources on something like I apparently did with the Shadow Fury. And then finally, probably the most important part is going to be to star this item because of course, since it's going to be used in dungeons, it needs to be not only a dungeon item, but probably a 5-star one as well. And once again, this is costing a lot of essence, this time undead essence as opposed to my wither essence. So I'm now down to only 3.8k undead essence, which is of course fine, but if this thing ends up being something, you know, I don't use in the long term, then probably wasn't worth it. All right, I've got a mini boss right here. This is the perfect opportunity to test this thing out. Let me just lock it in, and then basically the ability is I should just be able to spam left click here, and this should just continually knock him back and kill him. It definitely is working pretty well. He is, oh, he got so close to dying. There's an Angry Archaeologist here I can test it out on now. Let's see how it does on this guy. I mean, it's not really doing too much damage at all. I'd probably be better off just hitting him with my sword, yeah. Oh my god, is this gonna be another weapon that... Maybe I'm just using these things wrong, man. Everyone was telling me this Phantom Rod would be really good for mini bosses. Okay, here we go. We have a boss with his own room. This is where I want to see how it's gonna work. Oh, game's lagging a little bit. It's doing okay. It's not really doing that much damage. Like, I feel like if I just walk up to him and start hitting it with my sword... actually, you know what? It's pretty close. Like a mob like this, I probably don't really need the help of the Phantom Rod on. But again, on something like a Frozen Adventure, I probably would need that help. Oh my god, and look at that. I just pulled a treasure talisman out of a chest. Let's go, baby. But yeah, anyways, I think it will be an item I actually do end up using in dungeon runs, which as of now is apparently more than I can say for the Shadow Fury, which is, kind of sad. All right, cool. I would cautiously call that a successful experiment with the Phantom Rod. I mean, it at least seems like something I'll continue to use in the future. Anyways, we are now going to be heading back to the Shadow Fury because it is time to do the dragons of today's episode. And yes, I said dragons plural, not just one singular dragon, because I'm going to do one dragon using the Livid Dagger for melee, and the other dragon using the Shadow Fury for melee. And if the Livid Dagger seems to once again outperform the Shadow Fury, I'm just gonna go ahead and recombobulate the Livid Dagger and move on with my life, I guess, and just accept I probably wasted 15 million coins. So I'm gonna attempt to find a dragon party with no sweats in it, as always, and I will cut back to you guys when the fight begins. Okay, and finally got a dragon party. Holy crap, I must have been doing this at the wrong time, because it literally took me probably about maybe 25, even 30 minutes to get this dragon party. It was kind of miserable. All right, here we go though. For this first one, I am using the Livid Dagger. I will use the Shadow Fury on the next one. And unstable. Actually, I think this could give me something kind of decent. And the item I'm thinking of is actually the travel scroll to the dragon's nest. I know for most people that doesn't seem that useful, but for me, this is literally the only way to get it. I've never got one before, so I would gladly take one from this unstable dragon. Now, the key for these tests is going to be to pay attention to how much damage I'm doing when it goes into fireball mode. Uh-oh, some guy who was in our drag party just disconnected. That is probably not a good sign for him. All right, so I was at 900 damage. Oh my god, in like 2 seconds, I went to 2 mil with the livid. Okay, it is in sword mode again here. Holy crap. Okay, well, it was really close to me, so I got a lot of time sorting in there, though. But I just went from like 2 point something mil, I think, to 5.2 mil. All right, and I think the dragon is about to die here. So my ending damage count is going to be just about 5.5 million. Unstable dragon leggings. All right, pretty much useless to me, so that sucks. But in terms of the weapon test, the livid dagger performed very, very well there as expected. I mean, I've used it plenty of times for dragon fights now, and it always seems to do pretty good. So now on to the Shadow Fury. All right, cool. The same party was able to place eyes again, which I will be very happy to place eyes with them again, since I told you guys it took me 30 minutes to get this dragon party together. Here we go. Dragon is spawning. What will it be? Young dragon. Okay, kind of another dead end. I guess maybe I'm hoping for another dragon claw so I can put the fabled reforge on something else. Honestly, I don't know, man. These days, aside from a wise dragon and a superior dragon, there's not much that interests me. But we are focused on the damage test here. So using the Shadow Fury, from one sword thing there, 2 mil damage, actually pretty respectable. I'd say given the distance I had to travel to get to the dragon, that was about on par with what the livid would have done. Ooh, got hit by the fireball there, that's never good. Oh, it's in fireball again already. Okay, well it died too fast, so didn't get really another chance to test it again. And of course, a young dragon chestplate, man. My luck today is kind of trash, let's be honest. So based on that fight there, the Shadow Fury did not do enough to impress me. So I'm going to go ahead and just do this now. Maybe you guys are going to point something out to me in the comments that will change everything, and this will turn out to be a big mistake. But honestly, from what I've seen today, man, the Livid Dagger either was on par with the Shadow Fury or slightly outperformed it. So I now have a mythic Livid Dagger. Hopefully this was the right decision. Hopefully I didn't make a mistake here. I'm sure, like I said, you guys will let me know in the comments. Anyways, that is going to be the end of today's episode, guys. Really quickly, though, I want to say I know my upload schedule at the moment is just like really, really trash. I'm working on making it better, okay? Just be patient with me. I have a lot of things in the work for both this Hypixel Skyblock profile as well as for some like other fun things and like really cool ideas for the channel. So yeah, I'm telling you, this is a good time to be watching my videos. I'm gonna have some really cool ones coming out, but you know, just please be patient with me is all I ask. But yeah, hopefully you guys did enjoy today's video. If you have not done so already, please hit that subscribe button as well as drop a like on today's video. All the support means the world to me. Go ahead and check out another video if for whatever reason you haven't watched all 70 episodes of this series. And yeah, I will see you guys in the next one, hopefully pretty soon. See you guys then. Peace.